So last video, we repurposed an ATX power supply to work with the G4 by basically rewiring an extension harness. We also gave the inside and outside a thorough cleaning and tested boot. This week, I tackled the keyboard, the mouse, installing a drive, and re-imaging it. So let's get started. So we're going to take a look at the keyboard today and give it a thorough cleaning. We're going to decap it, soak everything, try to clean the electronics out inside if possible or if needed, and we're going to go on from there basically. So you're going to see a montage here. Okay, well, as you can see, I've got the keyboard mostly clean. I did get all these plastic parts, all the keycaps and everything. One thing I did not do though, however, was clean underneath here between the membrane and this plastic shield. Only reason is because first there's this metal adhesive pad that has to be peeled off, and you can see it's already got a crease in it, so if I were to continue removing that, it would be destroyed. And on top of that, there's like, I don't know, 40, 50 screws underneath. Not going through that. If anyone who's ever taken apart a C64 keyboard knows, that's a lot of screws. This is even more than that, so it's fine. I did clean with the brush through all the little plungers and everything. Clean enough. Keys will hide any residual dust underneath and all of that. So, but I'm going to go ahead and put this back together real quick. Well, real quick for you guys because it's going to end up being sped up. But to put this together, and then we're going to install a drive into the G4, install an operating system, and see what this thing can do. Well, that was a little bit of a pain. Of course, struggling with getting this enter key on, the way it's positioned and everything. Some of the screws I ended up not having with me. I had to go back to the basement to find them, and forgetting to put this on first and everything. But overall, I think everything came out all right. Now let's get the Mac set up with the drive, get an operating system installed, make sure this keyboard works, as well as the mouse, and go on from there. So I'm electing to go with a SD to IDE adapter just because I have a 64 gig card, and the largest CF card I currently have is only 16 gigs. Double-sided tape doesn't seem to be sticking too well. I think once I close the case, there won't be as much tension on the IDE cable and should be fine. So, and if it doesn't work, I'll try to come up with some sort of bracket or something. Now there is a piece of plastic that is shielding the bottom of the PCB with the from the rest of the chassis. So yeah, but this may or may not work. So see if I can find some better double-sided tape or come up with a better solution. But for now, I think for getting an operating system installed on here, we should be okay to go. All right, now that we've got the SD to IDE adapter installed, let's fire it up and get an OS installed. Still got to figure out the fan thing, but for now, it'll do. I'm not getting the USB mouse working at all. Let me make sure it's plugged in correctly. Keyboard is working. Maybe something's up with the USB pass-through. Let me plug it directly into the computer and see what happens. Okay, so it's working intermittently. There's some kind of a short in it. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I don't know if it's the circuitry inside or if it's just the USB cable. But I tried it on a couple other machines as well and does the same thing. So let's grab the white version of the mouse, which is just the mouse instead of the Pro mouse, but they're effectively the same thing. Okay, that's fine, whatever. Let's see what happens when we try to install Mac OS. I also, the event that it is the correct recovery software, I have the software restore image burned as well. Not sure if it's needed, but volume can't be found. I know I've got everything connected correctly. Let me double check though. Okay, I reseated all the cables just in case. Let's see if it works. Kind of bummed out about the Pro mouse though. I'm gonna have to see if there's a way to fix it without breaking the shell, because every single tutorial I've seen to tear this open has you cutting into it because they epoxy it together basically, and I'd rather not do that, but I might not have a choice. So at least the mouse is still working. It's going to be a little louder because I still have the side panel open just in case. Now I am using the original IDE cable. It's possible that it doesn't work. I've got spares, so it shouldn't be an issue. It's also possible that the adapter just won't work in this Mac and I'll have to grab a CF to IDE adapter. Although I don't have any large CF cards, but I think that's fine. Oh, maybe that's why? Let's see what we got here. Interesting. Initialization failed. Activity light seems to be fine. It's possible that it doesn't recognize it as an Apple drive, maybe. Interesting. All right, well, let me play around a little more, and if I can't figure it out, we'll grab a CF card. So I got it working. What I did is I took the SD card, put it into a more modern Mac, formatted it under Mac OS Extended, and obviously this won't recognize it, but it allowed me to initialize it from within here, and you can see it right there. So that's cool that that's working. So now let's actually see if we can install Mac OS. If not, I've got a smaller SD card just in case, and I also have the CF to IDE adapter. So far, so good. Don't have an airport card installed, but we'll leave it in case I ever put one in later. Probably don't need that. Probably should install that. I don't know if I'll need it, but why not? And we'll just let this run. It says 2 hours. It could be 2 hours. It could be 20 minutes. It could be 2 minutes. We don't know. But we'll let it run and we'll be back. I knew it wasn't going to be 2 hours. I seriously stopped recording for 10 minutes maybe, and it's about 3 minutes left. So I don't know, maybe if I had had personal web sharing on, it'd take longer, but all right. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead and let's see. Restart. Provided this works, I'll see if I can get a direct capture instead of just recording the screen, but we'll make sure everything works first and do a quick setup. So far, so good. Okay, we have a desktop. We've got the setup assistant. And we've got sound coming out of the monitor speaker because I hooked up the cable while I was installing network timer. Well, yeah, I don't have it set. Uh-oh. Z's not working. Other keys seem to be... The entire bottom row doesn't seem to be working. Entire 2 bottom rows. Well, that's not good either. Is it a bad trace? Did I damage something when I was cleaning it? Or is it something within the controller itself? I'll have to take a look at that. But for now, let me grab a working keyboard and continue its setup. Kind of bummed out. Bad mouse, bad keyboard. All right, let's try that again. Okay, it does seem to be working, so it's almost definitely the keyboard. I'll try it on another machine, but who knows? Let's see, what time is it? Now we'll... I don't want a password. Yeah, we'll just quit. So, all right. Now, I don't have a network cable plugged in. I don't have one long enough. Let's see if I can try to find where to make one so I won't be able to browse the internet. Not that it's going to be very fast anyway. It's in the trash. AirPoint Setup Assistant. Interesting. Energy Saver. Apple Talk active, inactive. Keychain access. Location manager. Millions of colors. Set to 1024 by 768, which I believe is the max for this monitor. So it recognizes the monitor. So that's good. Must be picking up the EDID information. It seems to think this might support higher resolutions, but I don't know. Let me drop it down a little just to see if, so it won't warn me. So if I pick the wrong one, out of luck. That's fine. I don't have any printers installed. We've got QuickTime with different feeds. Apparently QuickTime is locked up this computer. Or it was just maybe trying to determine the internet speed on its own, or not sure. Glass still exists as an alert sound in at least macOS 10.14. Alright, well, let's try the software restore CD to see what it's contained on here and if it's going to be of any use to us or not. Okay, so this is just another image restoration, but does it... I don't know if this is a bootable disk or not, if this is the equivalent of the other one that I used, or if it's different. Because it's not letting me do an actual restore. So it could just be a disk that's used to set up additional disks, maybe for imaging purposes. Let's try running the image to see what happens. Curious to see what's on it. Now we can skip the verification. Yeah, it's literally just the exact image that we've got already installed, it looks like. Let's compare. Well, I guess it's got a few extra things. Acrobat Reader, Earthlink, Fax STF, iMovie, all of that stuff. So I'd like to be able to restore that onto here and get more of the applications installed. I could just drag and drop, but I'd prefer to do it quote unquote the correct way. Let's eject that. Let's try rebooting and see if it's a bootable disk or not. And it is. Okay, cool. So let's do a restore from here and get potentially the full experience that would have come out of the box when you first bought it instead of just a basic one. All right, so let's go and try to restore the software. Configuration not supported on this computer, so this might not be the right restore disk, which is a bummer, but that's okay, because we can always just drag and drop, I suppose. Sure, why not? And we'll let this run and do its thing. All right, so everything got copied over. I have no idea if it's actually going to work, but I guess that's that. So let's go ahead and restart. Okay, I'm trying to do a capture. Hopefully it's working. It does show on the preview, but I don't know if it's actually capturing or not. So nice little convoluted set of cables, though. I've got a VGA splitter, one going to this monitor, the other one going to an VGA to HDMI adapter, going to a capture device, going to a laptop. So let's see. The applications, yep, they did. Will they work? They do. So a little extra work, but effectively I was able to restore this to proper factory defaults. So, and it's working. Actually, let me go back into it. Yeah, okay, so there's that. What was the I got iMovie's on here. Part of the iLife suite. So there's that for those of you that might have never seen it or might miss it. Won't be able to capture audio because I don't have that hooked up, but hopefully the primary camera will get it. But yeah, so there's iMovie. And then Explorer 5, I think that just comes with it through the deal Microsoft made. It also has Netscape Communicator, Outlook Express, Palm software. Not sure what security. Okay, so that just that, and it's probably what it just came with anyway. So disk burner, even though the system doesn't have a burner, I do have an IDE burner somewhere. I can probably put that in there later, maybe. Not sure if I want to, but I do have the option. So let's go ahead and just mess around with some things. I don't really have any software for Mac OS 9, unfortunately. I might have some demo disks somewhere that'll work. We'll see if we can get it online and see how poor performance we can get out of it. But yeah, let me get that set up. All right, so I had some time to just install some random software, stuff like Expander and some demos from one of the Mac Edit CDs that I've got. I don't have a whole ton of Macintosh software, so I just dealt with some demos and some abandonware that I found online. One of which is, one of the demos was a Virtual Game Station on one of the Mac Edit CDs. Now, for those that aren't familiar with what Virtual Game Station is, it's a PlayStation 1 emulator. It was a commercial one that was released late 90s, I believe. And it was made by a company called Connectix, who also made software called RealPC, which allowed you to run Windows on your Mac. In some cases, even better than an equivalent PC. So, yeah, Virtual Game Station. So there was a demo on one of the Mac Edit CDs, and it works. It doesn't have gamepad support, so I had to install some like keyboard to joy utilities and stuff, but it does seem to work pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and insert Destruction Derby 2, because that's the first disc I grabbed. And I'm using a Gravis Gamepad Pro, which mimics very, very closely the PlayStation 1 controller. The original one anyways, not the DualShock. So we've got everything configured. I've got the joystick configured. I've got a memory card created. So hope the capture volume isn't too loud, but I can always adjust that later. And we'll just start a game real quick. Just a Destruction Derby race type thing. It's not a arena type. As you can see, it looks pretty good. Little bit of clipping in between the polygons, of course, because I don't know if it's the emulator or if it was just the PlayStation 1 itself. It didn't have, I think, a Z buffer, so the textures were always warped, and I'm not sure what I needed that, but hey, you knocked me in here, dude. 16th place, apparently. 17th now. But yeah, the game otherwise, it looks and plays as well as it would in any emulator at the time. There were no 2x anti-aliasing features or HQX filters or anything like that. No proper upscaling. What you see here is pretty much what you got. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that Destruction Derby runs as well as it does. I believe Destruction Derby 1 was listed in the list of games that were compatible with this. And this is effectively just the same engine, just with some tweaks, so. But you can see the G4, 400 megahertz, 180 whatever gigs of RAM, or megabytes of RAM, handles it just well with the ATI Radeon that's in here, so. And yeah, so I crashed my car, but I don't know how well this would necessarily run on like a G3 because that's the bare minimum required for this. Maybe once I fix up the iMac G3 I've got, can find out. So there's that. I also did manage to find a long enough Ethernet cable. Oh yeah, when you quit Virtual Game Station, it ejects the disk. So, but I did manage to find the Ethernet cable just barely long enough to reach, and I connected it to a TrueNAS server, which just has a basic AFP share on there. So I installed some stuff from here and got it going. No real games or anything yet. Utilities, stuff at Expander. There's that USB overdrive software. Lido, I'm not even sure what that is. I think it's a SCSI utility. Might allow you to use non-Apple SCSI disks in certain Macs that the disk utility would not run in. So what else do I have on here? I've also got all the stuff that we copied off of the other disk, Deus Ex Demo. Did that come with the Mac or did that come on a demo CD? I don't remember now. But I must have installed it, so. Oh, we'll use Rave then, I guess. Sure, why not? Eidos and Aspire Media. Aspire I remember for some other reason. I can't think of it right now. Yeah, maybe it'll come to me. Well, let's try the Deus Ex demo and see what we can come up with on here. Since it's more of a true game, it's a native game that should hopefully run really well. I don't know if it supports USB controllers or not, but we're going to find out. I hit a button and it seemed to bring the menu up. Let's go to... This might just be a mouse only. Maybe it does support. It doesn't support in the menu here, but no, we'll just leave everything as is. I do see a little bit. Oh no, that might just be lightning from the logo. So I can use a gamepad, but because it doesn't have joysticks or thumbsticks or anything, I can't actually move anywhere.
I figured you'd be sick of drills, but hopefully our training exercises will be more interesting than what they've had you doing at the academy.
So we use a combination here.
Open the door by clicking the right mouse button. The right button uses items in the world.
I don't have a right button.
The key on the desk opens encryption-based nanotech locks. When you pick it up, it will automatically be added to your keyring. Use the keyring to unlock the door and proceed to the next area.
There's a little bit of screen tearing, but I'm not sure if that's the game itself or if it's the display. Let me see my capture. Oh, there's some there too, so I might need to adjust some of the settings. I've never been good at tweaking game settings. Let's turn these on and see what happens. A little choppier. Not sure what happened to the recording, but it just stopped randomly. But the capture should have gotten all the game footage that I want to get. I mean, I'm not going to go through this entire tutorial or anything like that because this would take forever. We'll just exit here, and I just want to show off a few more things on here. What other apps? Obviously Adobe Reader's there. Some other boring stuff. We already checked out iMovie briefly. We've got Microsoft Office installed, which I forget where it was one of the demo discs, but it seems to be the full version. At least one of the old product keys I have worked. But I wanted to show this off because this is probably a great example of why these older machines are actually good. Yes, this might not be able to open DocX format and XLSX format, basically all the newer types. But that's fine for the most part because the newer versions of Office can read and open up the older file types. So what that basically means is if you need to type up a document or something, here you go. I mean, there's no reason to, shell out $2,000 on a laptop when all you need is, well, $2,000 on a PC or even an old laptop, comparatively speaking, when all you need to do is type up documents. That's one of the reasons why these older machines should be preserved, is for stuff like this. I mean, you've got a lot of people that might be income limited, especially in third world nations. Sure, these machines are not going to be great for the internet, although there are some workarounds for that. But, if they just need to type up some documents, do some basic homework, this is perfect, I mean, see, I can type just as easily and quickly as I can on a newer machine, and it seems to keep up. So we won't save that work of art there. And there's a PowerPoint and Excel and all of that. So, I mean, yeah, there's not much else that I really have on here other than a copy of RealPC here. Not sure why that comes up every single time, but it's basically just a PC emulator. This one comes with PC DOS, no Windows or anything like that, but I can install Windows. In fact, I can probably install MS-DOS 6 and Windows 3.1 or Windows 95 even on here and compare it to an actual PC with 120 megahertz CPU. I don't know how fast the processor this emulates, but I don't believe there's CPU. So it supports MMX, which mine doesn't. So that's interesting because, I don't have MMX capability in my PC. But still, even with MMX support, this might run slower just because it's emulating everything. But yeah, there's not much I can really show you here because I don't have anything installed in DOS. There's no edit command, I guess. Or maybe... I'm not too familiar with PC DOS. I assumed it would be the same, but apparently not. Oh, apparently their editor is just E. Go figure. I wonder if there's mouse support. There is, look at that. Yeah, I wish I could show off more, but there really isn't much more I can do. We can browse the internet, but it's not going to be great. Yeah, of course that failed. Let's see what works. Well, Google loads. Let's just do I'm feeling lucky and see what it comes up with. At least it can still run HTTP, which is kind of funny since if you use Chrome, it hollers at you if a site isn't secure. This isn't loading very fast, is it? Just for giggles, let's see what happens with YouTube. Can't even connect to YouTube, look at that. I'm pretty sure Netscape would not work at all just because of the fact that it was discontinued, I think, or between IE5 and IE6. Oh gosh, yeah. Good enough. Sure. Sure. Whatever. Yeah, that won't even work either. Not surprisingly, but... So that's the PowerMac G4. Other than the upgraded RAM and running an SD card, which may or may not be faster than an actual physical disk, it's basically stock. It's simply the stock CPU. So, and a stock Radeon card that came with it. So it's not... There's no sense in me running into the benchmarks or anything. Now, if I ever do get an upgrade card, upgrade video card, upgrade processor, then maybe I'll run some benchmarks. But other than that, that's it. So, do you guys have any suggestions for upgrades, mods, software to run on here? You know, leave a comment below. Otherwise, if you like today's video, hit the thumbs up. And as usual, feel free to subscribe, but there's never any obligation. I do appreciate it though. If you didn't like the video, hit the thumbs down, but please leave a comment below as to why, so I can try to use that to help things going forward. Otherwise, thanks all, and I'll catch you later.